Elaborate on the Latino, the Puerto Rican, Dominican experience.
Because in New York, in the Bronx, and Brooklyn, and Queens, Manhattan, we grew up together. People understand this. Hip-hop was created by Puerto Rican brothers and sisters, black brothers and sisters in the Bronx. Black people and Puerto Ricans created one of the great art forms ever. Together. That's a fact. Under motherfucking disputed. Black and Puerto Rican created hip-hop.
Hey, good evening, everyone. It's your boy, Ballingthing, Val the Voice, the BORI Ambassador. Make sure to check us out, BORIBoutique.com. Follow at BORI Boutique on Facebook and Instagram, and check out, all the new gear that we got lined up. I just wanted to make a video in honor of Hispanic Heritage Month, which is September and October. And I wanted to address the topic of Puerto Ricans and hip hop, okay? A lot of times I'm on Instagram, I'm on Facebook, and I see on the timelines, people make comments that, Puerto Ricans are guests in the culture of hip hop or in the house of hip hop. And, I want to officially say that that is a complete falsehood. Puerto Ricans are not guests in the culture of hip hop. We are actually the co-creators of the culture. As long as hip hop has been around, the music, all the elements of hip hop, we've had instrumental Puerto Rican figures who played a part of pushing the culture forward. From DJ Disco Wiz with the Cold Crush Brothers, who's a Puerto Rican who helped push the culture forward. He's actually the first Puerto Rican DJ in hip hop. Then if you go on, we've had more legendary DJs like DJ Tony Touch, who's helped push the culture forward. Also, if you talk about breakdancing, you have the legendary Crazy Legs, Rocksteady Crew, which are, a big majority of them were Puerto Ricans. You also have, in graph, you have artists like Dondi and all these other great graph artists, who brought that element of hip hop. And they were Puerto Rican. To the MCs, Fat Joe, of course, the legendary Big Pun, who pushed the culture forward. He was the first Puerto Rican hip hop artist to go platinum. All right, you have Nori, you have J-Lo, you have so many different people in the 90s. You had Killer Army, Don Pacino of the legendary Killer Army, Puerto Rican terrorists, Power Rule, Prince Marky D. I mean, the list goes on, and that's not even to talk about some of the legendary Puerto Rican hip hop producers also that made big records. So again, the list goes on and on. We've always had an imprint. We've always had our foot in the culture. We've always helped push the culture forward from the early conception of hip hop. Busta Rhymes recently was on stage and he made that statement. He acknowledged that. He said that Puerto Ricans and blacks are the creators of this culture.
I want to remind everybody that may not know how the origin of hip hop was started. The origin of hip hop was started by the power of black and Puerto Rican people. In case you needed to be reminded, a lot of motherfuckers want to try to gentrify our culture. A lot of motherfuckers want to try to act like they conveniently forget who fathered this shit. Black people and Puerto Rican people together, we created the greatest culture in the fucking world, and it's called hip hop.
Grandmaster Cass was on Drink Champs. He said the same thing. This was a Puerto Rican and a black culture that was created in the South Bronx, and then it migrated to all the other boroughs.
Okay. Oh, we can make records? We can put this shit on records?
Y'all didn't think that was something that was possible.
Exactly. Nobody was thinking that way. The closer we got to it, me and my first DJ partner, Disco Wiz, all right? On the first Hispanics in hip-hop, and most of the first Hispanics in hip-hop was down with me.
Wow.
By the way.
Shout out Charlie Chase.
That's what I was trying to... Disco Wiz. Whip, Charlie Chase, Joe Conzo.
Goddamn, make some noise.
All right. I fucks with my boricuas. All right.
But make no mistake, the Puerto Rican contribution to hip hop is priceless. We've been down since day one. We've helped push the culture forward. And even behind the scenes, there's a lot of BORIs, a lot of Puerto Ricans who are executives behind the scenes, like James Cruz, Benny Medina, who actually managed P. Diddy, managed J-Lo. So let's not get it twisted, man. Puerto Ricans are legendary in the hip hop culture. We will continue to push the culture forward. We've done groundbreaking things for the culture. Don't get it twisted. The problem is that we have a lot of, younger acts now, and they don't know the history. But, if you're going to be involved with something, you should know the history and try not to offend people who have helped, people who have laid the groundwork down so that you can eat. All right, with that being said, make sure to log on to BORIBoutique.com. It's your boy Val the Voice. Peace.